Oh boy, we're coming in hot and heavy. It's Monday Market 15. The 15-minute show takes, 30 minutes. With me as always, Great American Title's very own, very unique, very passionate, and very exquisite, Miss Ashley Miller. Hello, Miss.
Hello, everyone.
There she's back.
Monday. Just another manic Monday.
It's always manic on a Monday.
Very manic.
I'm very tired today, too.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, I've been working on my house.
Well, I've been on the road.
Oh, yeah, you took a 5-hour road trip.
Yeah, not intentionally.
Not intentionally.
I was thinking, though, if you were going to Payson, there's no way to, like, let's say you live in, Pine or Strawberry.
Yeah.
You're going to Payson. Where do you go? You just turn around and go back or sleep in your car on the side of the road?
I guess you go through.
But if you're in Payson, you can go up, down, and around and over
Strawberry and through all the,
Right. But, what do you do? So I was, kind of, butthurt about them thinking, man, what if I lived in Payson and I was headed up there? Then I'd be really upset.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about being butthurt, but we're here to talk about the Phoenix housing market, Miss. Thank you for joining us here on a Monday, bringing you the latest news and the information regarding Phoenix housing. So what's new, Miss Miller? What's going on out there? It's been crazy.
Well, so I love,
Oh, boy.
you guys know that Robert and I don't always, you can't always prepare for these shows because the market is constantly changing day to day, week to week. So, towards the end of the weekend or even Monday morning, we're like, hey, what's Monday morning? What the heck's happening? And when Robert's like, we're going to call this show Cash is King or Cash... Well, cash is the only king, but credit is the queen. Credit is the queen, and the queen is always the rock star, right? The queen rules everything.
The queen rules everything. So the reason we brought that up is because there's a lot of interesting things going on in the Phoenix housing market regarding interest rates. Interest rates are increasing, so part of that is all related back to credit.
Right.
So we're walking off a deal this weekend. Ashley was talking about a deal she made an offer on a house, and didn't win it. Even with cash,
I didn't win.
Yeah, and part of what we try to help with is understanding the market and how we can best fit your needs and your situations. And right now, what I'm seeing is just complete cash offers.
Yeah.
Especially anything below our median price point, so anything below about $450, insanely is cash.
Well,
Why?
and the crazy thing is, it's so I am the queen and I do have good credit. But
does that make me the king?
No.
Oh, I'm not your king.
But
I'm the king of the show.
You are the king of the show.
Okay, that's fine.
And
I'll
I'm
take
the king
that
of the show. That's why I rule it all. But
shit.
I'm not saying that I have the cash in my pocket because I don't. I don't have that amount of money, but I do have the credit to support it. So, which leads us into kind of our topic today is how can we go in with a cash offer and still win when we don't actually physically have the cash ourselves. And we have a few companies that we can share with you. I mean, there's always investors who they have, high interest rates. They do require you to put a certain dollar amount, not investors, hard money lenders. But then there's two companies that Robert and I have been doing a little bit of research on that are pretty awesome.
So I'll put up the first one. The first one's the one I found. So if you are in this market and you're trying to have a competitive edge against, your competition, which is other conventional buyers, even some of these iBuyers who are offering cash, some of the investors, one program.
But the key word you said, conventional.
Yes.
And I want to reiterate on that because with these programs we're about to tell you about, they are only, unfortunately, for conventional buyers. They aren't for the first time home buyer that's using government program like FHA or down payment assistance.
Yeah. So the reason we brought up the second point of our title is credit. So credit. I'm going to go ahead and put up the first slide here. This one's a company called Homeward. If I can find here, I'll just move your face out of there. A company called Homeward. So essentially, it is a company, a mortgage lender who offers cash. So you find a house, you go out there and you find the dream home, and and I'm sure a lot of buyers have come across this already this last year. You make that offer, you have a conventional loan, FHA loan, VA even, and you get denied because some other person had a cash offer.
Well, and a lot of people who are purchasing selling their home and they want it right away. And the reason why they're accepting cash offers is because their property they're buying is contingent, meaning they have to sell the current home they're in order to buy the home they're going to. So even if you're approved and you have great credit, you may need to use a company like this to put in the cash offer, and then what you'll end up doing is you'll turn around and you'll have a traditional loan. Yeah. But this just gives you more buying power in the beginning.
Yeah, so I guess to make it easy, so you can read into the details, and this is not somebody we endorse. This is just a company we came across, that I came across. Ashley has one herself. Mm-hmm. But it is a solution to an end to a situation right now. If you're desperate or in that real... that need kind of in a situation where you're like, I have to have a home and I don't want to go to rent, and we'll show you rental numbers too. I just want to buy a house. This could be an option for you. And again, it's not a company we endorse. We don't know the full specifics of the whole company. We just did some research and found it. But what they do is they allow you to use their money, their cash, to make a cash offer. And what they do is you win the home, and then they lend you the money through a normal loan once the house closes.
But what's really cool about it is I believe it's on this screen, or maybe it's with Knock, which we'll show that one too, is they actually, let's say you still currently live in your home that you own. You can stay in your current home that you own without selling it. Again, going back to the contingency, but let's reverse it. They will give you a cash offer. You can buy the new home, and they'll allow you to move from the home you're selling into the new home, and they'll be patient, I guess is the right word. So you can sell your other home, which in these
it's a post possession. Really so the formal phrase is post possession. You stay in the home past the close date for a predetermined or at least a negotiated time frame.
Right.
And so again, this is Homeward. They're the other company. Again, not that we endorse these companies to utilize or really.
And don't blame us if you use one and it doesn't work out. It is not our fault. We're just here to give you information from the research we've done and what we've seen, and it actually worked out really perfect because of the situation that Robert and I went through over the weekend with a property, and it was like it really worked out well, and to bring this and present this to you guys and what our options are.
Yeah, I will say, let me go back here. So this weekend, I listed a house and got, I want to say 4 or 5 cash offers, 1 loan. And it's really hard to compete with that. As far as a loan goes, I mean, everybody wanted an inspection period. Everybody wanted, wanted the house. But the one deal that won the offer was the person who accepted it flat out, didn't even look at the home, and then gave a non-refundable earnest deposit of $5,000.
So let's discuss that earnest money. So when you go in to purchase a property, you have 2 options. So earnest money is basically good faith that you are going to purchase a property, and typically you have an inspection period. Some people it's 5 days. I mean, I think the longest I've ever seen being entitled is 30, which is very, very rare, you guys. Not common. 10 days is typical.
I had one situation where it was a 30-day inspection, but they were still constructing the home.
Right.
And it wasn't like a normal home builder. It was a custom home.
Yeah, so that's what I said. It's a scenario.
It's a very, very rare situation.
So when that person came in and they hadn't seen it, no inspection period, came in and they offered a non-refundable earnest money. That means when they close and that house falls apart, there's nothing.
They're stuck with it.
They're stuck with it. But a refundable earnest deposit would be when you go through the inspection period and you find out that the roof is dilapidated or there's some serious plumbing issues or electrical issues. Within the inspection period, you get to back out and then you get your money back. So with that scenario, why would a buyer or a seller not take that? All cash. Non-refundable. They can't, if they back out, they're still going to get whatever the earnest money is. That's the best case scenario. So it's a risk for buyers these days. Like, are you going to take that risk or are you not? It just depends.
I guess how much do you love that house?
I really loved it.
Yeah, I know. And there's certain tolerances which you have to really negotiate on your own. Am I going to accept a property? This property is a little bit older. I think it was built in the 70s.
Nope. 1950. Actually, no, that one was built in 1930.
Yeah, and so you do take on the circumstance that it could have lead-based paint, asbestos, plumbing repairs. In that age range, I'd worry about plumbing, electrical, roof, basically everything. The bigger cost items are going to be your plumbing and your electrical on something like that, especially if they haven't been taken care of since it was built.
Yeah.
You have a lot of issues.
There is, And you don't know what's underneath the floor. Like, you don't know what's behind the walls. But with that being said, and I don't know about, so let's show the other one, knock.
Going back to knock. So, we haven't vetted the whole thing, but again, this is just an option, and the bottom line is that they lend you money to offer cash, and then with knock, we didn't really determine what their fee structure was.
Scroll down to the bottom so we can just view it real quick. So we do know from what we researched, Homeward. Oh, right here, right there. So with Homeward, it was like a 1% fee to the agent. On this one, it looks like they don't include an agent. They don't assign an agent, where it looked like Homeward, they didn't assign you an agent, but you could choose your own agent at 1%. And with knock, the agent's not involved with, just like the scenario we were speaking about. A lot of times these cash buyers don't have an agent, which is okay, but they're going to charge you from what I can see, a $14.50 fee, which is great. But again, this would be, if you've got really good credit, you're contingent in a situation. You found a house maybe with or without Robert being an agent.
Hello, that's me.
Or an agent under that matter. But I guess the whole point is knowing that there are a lot of options out there that you may not have to invest, or I'm sorry, I apologize, not invest, reach out to a hard money lender who's going to have you put down a lot of money. You might have some of these, but I feel like they're kind of too good to be true. I almost want to just like test it and do it and kind of.
I'll go buy a house and see.
Honestly, like I do. Like I want to play like a game, kind of, sort of, where we go out and we do, like a split test where we go to knock, we go to Homeward, and we just like do it.
Yeah, and so
you want to do it?
Do I want to do it? Am I the king?
Me, I'm crazy. I'm like the risk taker, and I'll be the queen.
You gotta ask your king.
Yeah, no, he'll do it. He'll do it. And he's like, all right, you want to buy a house? How much is it? Let's do it.
No, with these cash companies. So the one thing I want you to really pay attention to is that if there are very few fees, they're probably upcharging you on the interest rate. And if the interest rate is typically low, they're probably charging you a lot on the fees. They're going to make their money somehow. And they're not doing this as a free service. I mean, it's a service to get you in a home, but it's not for free.
Nothing is for free. And the questions I would ask if I were, somebody who was doing this, because I haven't done it, is how long is there a prepayment penalty? Do they require you to keep that loan, the cash loan, for 30 days?
Those are fees.
60 days, 90 days, because that accrues fees. So that $14.50 could turn into more. And then do they require, if you do put down the earnest money and something doesn't work out, are you going to have to potentially give them a portion of it? I would say, sorry, I keep saying I would write down every question you could possibly think about before you contact any of these companies. Yeah. But however, if you find that house that you really love, like I did, and you just run with it, and I was going to use a hard money lender, and it wasn't going to be cheap. But with that being said, I knew what I wanted, and I was okay with it. So how much do you want it, and how much research do you want to do?
We're talking about houses, not relationships, right?
Well, it's all the same. Houses, relationships, like all of this is the same. But I am curious about knock and Homeward, and we're bringing it up because actually, honestly, how about a few of you guys, if you're watching, do a little recon, put a comment down below.
Especially if you've used the service before, that would help us out too.
If you're familiar with it, and I don't know what the minimum credit score is that they accept, and I don't know if you have to have a pre-approval already from your traditional lender, and then you have to bring that pre-approval in first. And
that's what I read from knock. If you go back,
that was the case.
The case for them is that you have to, in order to be conventional, you need to have a higher score or higher income and so many other variables. But those are typically the two. Yeah. But when it comes to that service, you have to have a conventional loan. So you have to have good credit. So so if you're an investor, if you watch us regularly on our finance show too, we talk about having credit and establishing a good portfolio of credit-worthy history. Not only like credit cards, but mortgage, everything credit-wise. You have to have a good score, and those will get you the best rates.
So I'm also curious too with the with them saying like, hey, we'll give you the money as long as you're pre-approved for a conventional or jumbo. I did read it, or a jumbo loan. Yeah. What is that? is that contingent upon? Do they have to make sure your rate is locked in? And I'm really curious about it. So I want people to go on there and look. And if you have used it, like you said, like tell us about it.
Yeah, and then for jumbo loans, you have to, the loan amount has to be, I think, greater than they changed it earlier. So like 600, I think, is the last year it was like 540, and then or 524 or something like that. I don't do too many jumbo loans, but we're getting into a time and a place in our market where jumbo loans are a little bit more frequent now. And I mean, 600,000 really doesn't seem that much. 5 years ago, 600,000, like, oh, you must be rich.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, the average house, right? What is the average for in Arizona? Moved up to 450.
Last time I checked, it was 460. I didn't pull up those stats this week.
450, 460.
And that was a median price.
That's what I meant. Median average.
But you know what? Since we're bringing up credit, the one thing, since you're looking that up, I wanted to bring up this idea of interest rates. So interest rates, not only the 10-year treasury and interest rates, the Fed increasing the rates doesn't always affect mortgage. It affects every other kind of credit line.
Yeah.
And so it's what I've noticed, and I've gone to the store, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but all these tellers and cashiers at the store are hard pressed on trying to sell you a credit card. And I thought that was a little bit of a, like, that's kind of weird. Like, everywhere I'm going, it's like, oh, well, you could save money today by applying for the Walmart credit card or the Home Depot credit card.
TJ Maxx.
It's like, okay, this is everywhere. This isn't just in one location. Yeah. So the interesting part, I wanted to share this article too. Let me get your face out of there.
Get my face out of there. I know. I
feel
like I did not sleep well last night because I was driving for so long. I feel so gross today.
So having a credit card essentially allows you to purchase more. But if you're purchasing crap, basically, that's not going to bring you in any money, then you're basically losing money. So you can apply and you can pay. You can get like the $75 off. The full purchase price on if you open a credit card, like Home Depot this weekend, right. It was get $75 off my purchase if I opened up a Home Depot credit card, and which just sounds great, right? I get $75, but at the same time, I'm opening a line of credit,
right?
And the variable rate, and I wanted to highlight this too. So, Fed's latest rate hikes mean credit card holders can expect higher bills in the summer, spring, warns expert. So if you go down to here. In this section of the article, typically when you open a credit card, the variable rates, see it says right there?
Yeah.
When you open up your statement, it'll say variable rates from like it says here, $13.99 to $23.99. So yeah, you might open a credit card and it may be 13%, but with interest rates rising, guess what? You're going to be paying more. So it's almost like a extra tax when you open up a credit card at one of these places. Where they're charging a little bit more interest, and you may get your stuff. You may have gotten $75 off your purchase, but in the long run, you hold that card open, you're going to be paying more than just the $75.
Well, that's why, excuse me, you have to understand credit. So I grew up in a household where this was a common thing said in my house: cash is king. If you can't afford it, you don't need it. And the only thing that honestly my grandfather said was, "You're home." And even then, you need to make make a payment more towards your actual principal, so you could pay your home off faster.
Yeah.
He never even financed a vehicle, which, in my opinion, in this day and age, a house and a car would be fine. And I do have credit cards just to build my credit. So if we use it for gas. Well, I have money to put gas in my car, so I use it for my points. Then I turn around and I pay it off.
Yeah.
So we can't be using it to purchase things that we can't afford, because damn well you don't need a lot of the things that we're putting on our credit cards. We don't need them. So if you look right there and you want to buy something, if you don't have that money in your bank account, don't buy it. Just simply use your credit card for
or just don't buy stupid crap.
Well, I was trying to be polite and give advice like use it for gas because we need that. Use it for groceries, but turn around and pay it off. If you want to get the discount at Home Depot where you get 20% off and you're buying large items, like let's say an appliance packages, heck yeah, you get approved. You open it, get your 20% off.
Yeah, pay it off.
But you already know that you have the money in your bank account. Turn around and pay it off. Now you've made money.
Yeah.
And you have an extra credit line open that maybe you could put a couple of things on it here and there at Home Depot just to keep the line open, because once you close a line, that'll actually drop your credit. So keep it open. buy a few things, paid off, but don't go overboard by any means. So when you do get that offer and you do have good credit, there are times I open, oh my gosh, you're going to laugh, Finger Hut. You remember Finger Hut?
Is that a place to eat?
No, it is like a credit card where you can, like, you order random crap offline, but I wanted something on Finger Hut. They were going to give me 20% off. I was like, okay, I got approved. Purchased the item, never purchased again. And I was like, all right, cool. You know what ended up happening to me?
No.
After 6 months, they closed the account, and it dropped my credit score.
Oh, they closed the account?
Yeah, they closed it for lack of use. So that's what I was saying with, if you can open it, get the discount for a large purchase that will save you money. You already have the money, pay it off, but then slowly, like little, amounts here and there. But don't do what I did and do it just to buy something. No, you're never going to use it again and have them close it on you, because it literally dropped to like 20 points. That sucked.
Well, and you do want to have open lines of credit. Credit history has a lot to do with that too. So it's not a credit course, but the only times you really should be borrowing money is if you have a business, and then you can use that against those expenses against the business.
Right.
But you're buying typically with a business account or a business credit card, you're typically buying assets that bring in income. Yeah. So if it's not bringing in income and you can't deduct the amount on that credit card, do not get it. But you do need credit history. So to your point, as you're out there shopping and you need to establish your credit, that's what's going to get you the better rates. And I'll pull this up too. Mortgage rates right now are horrible, as you can imagine. Average rates, and this is in Arizona. This is horrible. It's like I want to cry. And right now, like a full point increase on a 30-year fixed, and this is somebody with good credit. Look at that, 7 to 7.20. Having a 5.25% interest rate. This is on average, so there's more out there.
Well, and that's just go to the credit score and drop down, click on it, and go to I would say on top. Oh no, don't move. Where it says credit score right there, where it says 700 to 719.
Oh, right.
Click on that for me a hot minute. Go down to I would say the average person is probably 620, 640 right there. Click on that one.
I don't know if too many people get almost 6%.
So almost 6%.
Heartbreaking.
And that's not even the average loan amount. Now the average loan amount is $450, $460.
It wouldn't let me do $450.
Oh well. So now we're at 6%. So
and that's doing 5% down. So I mean, if you're in a better credit situation like 760, you're under 5.
I'm not at a 760.
So the reason we brought up credit today because it does affect what your rate is going to be. Yeah. And again, when you're looking at rates, rates are long-term, fees are short-term. So it really just depends on your financial situation, what you want to do. If you're buying a house and you're flipping it, for instance, you probably want less fees and more of a rate because you're going to flip it in the next 30, 60 days. But if you're a long-term holder, if you're going to have a mortgage for 30 years, you may want to look at fees versus rates. I mean, there's just different variables, but it all comes back down to credit. So if you don't have a good credit history, you don't have a good established credit, then all these things come into play, and it comes out of your pocket at the end of the day.
Right, and it's not to say that you cannot purchase a home or even use these companies. I didn't see anything on either one of their websites that had a credit restriction with their...
Well, they want you to apply.
Right, well, yeah, obviously.
They don't care. They just want the...
But I will tell you, if you are in a battle to purchase that home...
there's two options.
You have more options than just your... going through the traditional outlet. And if you and your husband don't agree on purchasing a home, it's probably easier to find a new husband.
Spouse. Oh.
Or spouse. I get it. I'm just kidding.
Boy.
It's harder to find a house than it is a new spouse.
Uh-huh.
That was a horrible joke.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
But
oh, boy.
So check
it's Monday.
Out
Please forgive us.
And if you, or if we, Robert and I can find a few other. These are just two that we are aware of and know of. I'm sure there are a lot of entities,
we'll share
and companies that have this option for you. Don't think the world is going to end because you're constantly going in. You're a conventional buyer and you're getting pushed away. I mean, heck, just go in as a cash buyer. Yeah,
cash definitely gets attention. I would say, as a listing agent, you tend to look at the cash offers first. Because they tend to have shorter terms and shorter, less issues. I mean, the cash offer that my client accepted closed in 2 weeks. And again, a blanket, like an as is offer, like no inspections. And they lost their earnest money. If they back out today, they just lost $5,000 for nothing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of assurance there, and that's really the core of what a real estate is assurance and feelings and emotions. Typically buyers buy houses because they love the feel of it. Not because it's in a good neighborhood. Well, so that's part of it. Not because it's next to the school districts. Because they love it. They feel connected to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of this market is emotional than anything else.
It is super emotional, but we do at some point have to separate ourselves from the emotions because.
Yeah, 6% interest rate does not make sense.
Yeah, 6% interest
not
rate.
Right now, anyway.
Please don't be that emotional. Like you can't. You have to really be rational. And we have the tendency, especially this new generation that's purchasing homes, we are so instant gratification, and we only use our emotions when we're going through something. But we're in a market right now where we've got to put our emotions aside and be very rational and use our heads, like dollars, like 1 + 1 always equals 2. It just does. So does this make sense financially? And what outlets do you have and that you can utilize just by doing a little bit more research? And that's what Robert and I try to do for you guys, is do a little bit of research to give you some resources to figure it out, to make it, quote unquote, less emotional. And save $1 or $2. Honestly,
and I think a well-invested agent, even entitled to, they will remind you of those things. They don't have any personal tie to it, to the house, and then hopefully they navigate you through that emotional process. And that's really what I try to think of. Like, if this was me, if I was the husband, or if I was the financial planner advisor for this family, what would be in their best interest, or at least what can I say to at least inform them as well as possible. At the end of the day, it's their decision. But, what can I say and how can I support them to get them to their goal? And if that goal is overpaying for a house because they need a house, that's what it is. But that should be a discussion you have with your agent. So are you ready? You guys ready for the stats this week?
Oh, actually no, but okay. Oh wait, jumbo loans real quick. Arizona, 510,400 for a single family unit.
Oh, 510,000?
510. I actually thought it was higher than that.
That's median or average?
Well, that's what it says. I think this is wrong. I'm going to keep going.
I mean, that's pretty accurate, but it depends on what slice of the pie you're looking at. So there's numbers everywhere, and people extrapolate on every kind of number and give you arguments for everything. There's a report for everything.
Okay, JK, you guys.
Oh boy.
I did find them. So this is from the Arizona home loans, FHA, conventional. Jumbo loan limits.
Here we go.
647,200.
That's a jumbo loan. So if you're buying a house, the loan amount is more than 647. You're buying a jumbo loan, which usually come with higher rates too.
So I want to go back to, I made a mistake. You know why? Because I was just scrolling. I was trying to pay attention to what Robert was saying. I accidentally clicked on I think it was Lending Tree. So keep in mind, when you're Googling things, different people have different stats. I should have gone to this site originally, which is the Federal Housing Administration, which is where I should have gone, but I didn't because I was trying to multitask.
How dare you?
I know. So when you see things, don't automatically believe them, because I legit just gave you a false stat because I just looked down. I was trying to talk and I looked down, but then I was like, wait, that's not right. I know that's not right because we're in the industry. You guys are not necessarily in the industry, so don't look down. Don't look up. Actually legit read and see it, because that was my bad. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven. So anyway, the stats this week. Everybody's hanging on to the numbers.
I know.
So let me get your face out of there.
Please.
Look at that. Closings list 54% sold over the list amount. So about half the homes out there are getting more than offers, and this is this number right here, March 2022. Number of sales 7,800. Roughly about 54% of them were over list price. So whatever home you fall in love with, expect to pay a little bit more. And if you look a little bit closer down to the charts here, around the median price point, $400 to $500, people are offering on average $1,500 more. So whatever the list price is, expect to pay about $1,500 more, or at least offer that, or at least consider that in your negotiation piece of that. Because again, we're in a supply issue, and I don't see an end in supply other than these interest rates. But these interest rates will affect the market over a period of the next like 6 to 9 months. So if you want to see the outcome of increased rates, you won't see it until closer to the end of the year. So there won't be a supply in effect from interest rate hikes until closer to the end of the year.
Let's look at how many houses on the supply of how many houses. Where that one chart that I like, where it says like exactly how many houses are on the market as of today.
Oh, that's
I think it's like 5,000 something.
That's another screen. I'll have to.
No, it's okay. But what I wanted to bring up about this,
you'll have to fill in.
No, and this is why I'm asking you to bring this up. So I was raised by somebody who always said everything in life is for sale. So if you have a neighborhood you want to live in and you see it, start knocking on doors. You know, you can rely on real estate agents and you can rely on word of mouth. But when you walk up to somebody's door and you knock on it and you're like, hey, I love this neighborhood. My kid is going from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school, whatever your situation is, and tell and share your story. You never know whose door you're going to knock on. They're like, oh, yeah, I mean, I might, like, we were thinking about selling, but the market's so weird. And it's everything in life is for sale if you just ask. You'd be really surprised what people are willing to sell.
Yeah, Ashley.
No, seriously. We're looking for a car for Ryder right now, and we drove down the neighborhood, and man, there were these really, really cool trucks, and Brant and I just started door knocking, legit. Like it was on a Sunday, and just started knocking on doors and talking to people, and we made some friends. No, we did not. Nobody would really sell their vehicles because it was like, oh, it was traded in my family or been in my family for a million years or whatever the story was. But we made some really cool relationships with people, and it was fun, but I have no problem if I see something I want.
Yeah, you're an extrovert. That's why.
I'm an introvert extrovert. I only am an extrovert when
Isn't it an omnivert?
I want something, then I'm going to go get it. Or if I enjoy it, I'm going to be a part of it. But if I don't,
Is that how you got Brant?
No, I ran into him at a gas station. So anyway,
he's a cutie though.
You think he's cute? He is cute.
Well, yeah. I'm not. I'm not that way, but I see a cute guy when I see him.
But it's don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if there's a neighborhood that you like to just be observant. Yeah. Pay attention, because when you see that number that you're supposed to be pulling up,
I was waiting for your cue.
Holy shnikes, that's that number? That really?
Yeah, it's what it's 3,500 active listings right now, and I have to take the active listing I have off, so it's going to be 3,520 in about right after the show. Her mouth is completely open
because it was just a couple weeks ago like 5,300. Are you doing Maricopa County?
I just did a circle around Phoenix.
Oh yeah, but you didn't do Morristown. Like you kind of didn't see right up there.
Oh God, get over Morristown. There's only 2 there anyway.
No, I know. But with that being said,
it just articulates a point. Miss.
This is just what's listed under. If you look on the left hand side, see where it says active. Yeah. That doesn't mean your neighbor is not willing to sell you their house. Or the person, around the block, or a different neighborhood. Like, you have to be willing to fight for what you want.
Coming soon gave us about 50 more listings.
Yeah.
Woo. So it's a competitive market out there. So just be prepared for that. And we're over on time. I mean, this is 35 minutes. We're always over on time. But I did want to highlight this. The rental market is just going nuts. So if you are renting right now and anticipate buying a house, I would say anticipate at least looking or considering that purchase. Rates won't affect the price until later on this year. I would say November, December are historically, and probably this year more than ever, the best time to buy a house.
Yeah, and be prepared.
Only because people are worried about Thanksgiving and Christmas rather than buying a house.
When I would say too, also be prepared for rental rate increases.
So I will say that's to this point. Yeah. Rental rate increases will increase and continue to increase way past December. So as prices stabilize November, December, you'll see a trailing effect in the rental market about 6 months later. So if you're renting, I would anticipate it continue to be a mess. Because
not you be a mess.
No. The market, the rental market.
Well, you said continue being a mess. Like
we're all a mess.
Whatever. We're all hot messes. But
is that actually I talked about that. Talked about rates.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
I think that's a wrap, my friends.
If anybody has any comments or questions, you can drop those in. But Miss Miller, what did we learn today? What do we?
We learned that cash is king and credit is queen, and queens always win.
You are a queen for sure. And I want to thank you for joining me every Monday here, bringing the latest information on the Phoenix housing market to everybody that joined us today. Thank you. And if you have any comments, questions, go ahead and drop them us for us. Just put them in the thing.
Just put them down below.
Yeah, we'll get to them later. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.